Welcome back to another Porsche car whisperer video. Today we're going to be doing a brief video on the newly released Mission R concept car from Porsche. We're going to be discussing what are some of the specs that we can find with this car, as they're very, very impressive, as well as what can we expect with future Porsche sports cars. So let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so for those of you who have seen this type of video that I've done in the past, I usually like to start off with a video highlighting this new car, and then we're going to discuss what are some of the specs. Let's go ahead and hop behind the computer. So I have a video pulled up here for us, and let's go ahead and watch it. So as you guys can see, Porsche has made this video very, very futuristic, as that seems to be the way that we're kind of going more towards electrification. A lot of us know the Taycan and how impressive that car is. Well, that's kind of what we're starting to do here with the motorsports community. I know some of us may be sad about that, as we love our internal combustion cars, but this seems to be the way that Porsche is starting to go. So what are some of the specs on this car? Well, has over 1,000 horsepower in qualifying mode, 1,088 to be exact, and in race mode it has about 680 horsepower, which is absolutely mind-blowing. That you'll be able to do the race for about 30 minutes. After that, the car will slowly start to lose power and you'll have to charge it. Now, that brings me to another point as far as with the charging. This car has 900 volt technology. The Taycan that we know and love has 800 volt technology. So this is even a step up from that. But what does that mean? Well, this car can even charge faster than the Taycan. It can charge from 5 to 80% in 15 minutes, where the Taycan is 5 to 80 in 22.5 minutes. So I found that that is very, very impressive statistic on this new Mission R. Something else, the battery size is going to be about the standard size of the performance battery on the Taycan. It's about 80 kilowatts, so it's still a pretty decent sized battery. Now this car can recoup up to 100% of its driving, which is 800 kilowatts. Just for comparison, the Taycan can do about 270, so that is more than 3 or 4 times what the Taycan can do, which I found very, very impressive. This car has a single-speed transmission, as well as 2 motors, one in the front, one in the rear. The one in the rear has a little bit more power than the one in the front. Why didn't Porsche go 4 motors and a 2-speed like they did on the Taycan? Well, they did it for maintenance reasons, as this is going to be more of a gentleman driver car, very similar to the GT3 Cup car, so they wanted to help keep the maintenance costs to a minimum. This car weighs about 1,500 kilograms, so it's very, very light, quite a bit lighter than the Taycan. 0 to 100 kilometers an hour is about 2.5 seconds, and it can go up to about 300 kilometers an hour. And Porsche expects it to have a Nuremberg ring lap time of around 6 minutes 40 seconds, which is very, very impressive. That is getting around the GT2 RS MR Nuremberg ring lap time that they did just a little bit ago. So I found that very impressive. Now the body, you'll notice, has some very similar bits that we're very, very used to. We have those headlights, which look very Taycan-esque. The back wing looks very, very similar to a 992 GT3 Cup car, or maybe even an RSR. And that has a lot of downforce, especially as you're going around the corners. Now, the center of gravity is even lower than the Taycan, with the battery mounted very, very low in the frame. This car has something that all of us Formula One lovers know and love, something called DRS, stands for Drag Reduction System. Also has Porsche active aerodynamics, or PAA, which we've seen in the 911 Turbo S, where that rear wing will go up and that front pneumatic spoiler will come out. This car has natural fiber composite throughout the monocoque, as well as ultra lightweight polycarbonate glass throughout the entire car as well. So it's very, very strong. In case of a rollover, we also have the exit hatch through the roof that we've seen on a lot of Porsche's race cars. Also has the 4 piston system where it has the jacks to be able to put the car up immediately as soon as you pit to change tires or do any work on the car. It also has 18-inch lightweight magnesium rims that have the same size of the tire as the Cup car. Also a collision avoidance system that we adapted from the 911 RSR. And that pretty much wraps up most of the specs on this new Mission R from a spec perspective. Now the inside looks very, very impressive as well. Very, very futuristic. That seat, that steering wheel, has a camera system there inside the car. So overall, I'm very, very excited for this car to hopefully at some point no longer become a concept and become reality. This tends to happen. It's Porsche. They tend to make these concepts come to reality. For example, the Mission E back in 2015 turned into the Taycan. Yes, it was a little bit different, but it was pretty close. We also had the Taycan Cross Turismo in 2018. I know some of you guys maybe remember, there was a drone coming out the back of that car. That car is now live too, with of course no drone coming out the back. So I expect hopefully within a couple years we'll be having something very similar to this Mission R, which may be called something by a different name. But the way it looks, that two-seater, kind of a mid-engine format, looks very, very similar to something I would expect to see for maybe the new Cayman Boxster in the upcoming years, as that car is due for a refresh. We've had that same design since 2017, and now we're coming into 2022 almost, so I would expect a refresh here in the near future. But I think that may be coming to our future sports cars. That pretty much wraps up today's video. I hope you guys learned something new on this new Mission R. Has some very, very impressive specs. For those of us that love those internal combustion cars, I know it may be a sad moment, but Porsche is of course still working with their GT3 Cup cars and having e-fuels as part of this new series. So that may be cutting down significantly on CO2 emissions and extend the GT3 Cup car and our internal combustion engines. But if you guys have any questions, please leave them down in the comments below. And again, I appreciate you guys watching this video. We'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.